with phase 1 allocated to the Maasai, exacerbating historical land injustice and undermining the resident social
Question?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
And I want to appreciate Chair for giving me the first shot, and appreciate the ministry and the PS for the response. But Mr. Chairman, what we presented and what has been responded to looks a bit confusing, because if I remember in the communication we have had even before this became a petition with the ministry, is that Rio Bay and Nyakenyua, you know the history, Honorable Koech, they had a history that dates back over 45 years, and they had already exchanged the title deeds, and we have no problem on the ownership of the Oljurai land. But National Land Commission in 2016 made a recommendation that the government compensates Nyakenyua so that Oljurai does not have to be disrupted. And 2 weeks ago, Chairman, I know this may not, the members may not really grasp what I'm saying, but I know the PS understands. 2 weeks ago, when the president visited Gilgil, and you are there, Honorable Koech, Honorable Korir, there was a commitment. And I think that is where we go wrong, because the reason there is this fight is also because there were some presidential declarations that were done long ago. So to put them into paper and put the money where our mouth is where the problem is. But Chairman, we are dealing with now what I would call a security threat. If I remember, just recently, the Nyakenyua group had actually come to invade their land. And I say their land because they may have the documents, but there are people residing in that land for over 40 years. We have chiefs, we have assistant chiefs, we have schools, have a population of over 2,000. And it was actually a bloodshed moment. And you know, we have historically have people die in that land. One from Rongai who was killed, Amze, and others. And it was actually the intervention of the president that was aborted. So we are still feeling that this is a matter of national security, because if it happens that they come to the land, then we'll still have a problem. So my question and follow-up, Chair, would be simple to the PS. What then was the commitment that we gave to the people 2 weeks ago? What was that? Because then if our words have no weight, then we will be lying to the public.
Thank you, Chair. It is true I am aware of this matter, Honorable Chair, and I've interacted with this matter. First, there was a confusion and a fight on the title, who owned the title, because there were two groups. There was a group, the Solai group, and the Larry Nyakenyua group. And Honorable Chair, luckily, we managed to settle that matter, and the issue of the ownership is now settled. The issue that...
So who owns the land?
It's owned by Larry Nyakenyua.
Okay.
So, Honorable Chair, the issue here is that the settlers on the land, if you look at the petition, the settlers on the land want to portray as if this land is government land, and they want to be allocated the land. And what we are saying as a ministry is that this land is private land owned by Larry Nyakenyua, and that we need to provide a budget to purchase this land. We have engaged with the Larry Nyakenyua. They have agreed that the government should buy this land, and we've agreed that we need to buy this land. Because Larry Nyakenyua, who own the land, are not residing on the land. The people residing on the land are other people who have settled there for a very long time. There was a matter, this issue has been in court for as long as I know, even when I was up, because when you talk about Solai, Honorable Chair, luckily, is where I come from. That is my home. And this matter is a matter that has been in court since when I was a baby up to now. Luckily, I came to execute the exchange, the deed of exchange of the titles. Now, the issue of the ownership is settled. What Larry Nyakenyua has actually done, Honorable Chair, is that they have said they don't have to live there so long as government pays them. In fact, they have identified another land. They say they have identified land in Nyeri. If government pays them, they'll go and purchase the land for their members, so that government can now use the available land to settle the people who are settling there, who are now from Honorable Wangari's constituency. So we needed to set the record straight in response to this question, so that we don't communicate wrongly to the members of the public that this land is available for allocation. is a private land that is not available for allocation until governments buy and now settle these quotas on Obocha. So, and I think we're in agreement with Honorable Wangari. We have actually written to Treasury to see if this money can be provided in the supplementary so that we can now start paying the Larry Nyakinywa for now settlement of the people on the ground.
So in short, you're saying that the budget, you are targeting that the budget will be made available through the supplementary budget. How much money are you looking at?
Unfortunately, it's not is a lot of money on the chair, because this is 8,000 acres of land, and the value of land there as at now is around 600,000 an acre. So we are talking about 4.2 billion, Honorable Chair.
So now the owners of this land, are they aware of, or rather, have you held discussions with them on how much they are going to sell, or it is just a promise that we are going to buy?
That is a negotiation that is on the table as we speak, Honorable Chair, with the owners of this land. First, we needed to get them. Initially, some of the owners were not agreeable to selling the land. And that's why there was almost a security issue last year, where people now left Larry in buses to go to this land. And there was a very hostile group on the ground, Mheshimiwa is aware. And actually, the security had to be provided to escort the buses, where now we asked them to buy and to sell to government, which they have written a letter now to offer to sell to government. So we are in that process. But you see, Honorable Chair, unless a budget is provided, even as government, I couldn't commit as a PS for lands that we want to buy now unless I have the money, because even in the laws of procurement, you have to have a budget before you negotiate. Yes, so, and that is the catch-22 where we are right now, Chair. Which, the report of this committee can help us in also pushing for resources to be made available. Honorable Chair.
So, okay. Are there questions, honorable members? Yes, honorable engineer.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is not a question, but it's really to thank the PS and the ministry and the government for settling or endeavoring to settle this problem in the best way possible. Chair, we have got several cases like that around the country where people have settled on land which is not theirs, and they are claiming they are Kenyans, and the government should tell them where they should go because they don't know where they will go. So I'm saying I'm thanking the PS and the government because they have addressed the plight of the landless who say they don't know where they can go. And really, if somebody is landless and he doesn't know where he can go, he can only turn to the government. And since the government is trying to address this problem, one request from Mheshimiwa here is to speak to our people, to be patient, because we are in the process and things cannot happen overnight. Those who may want to agitate others to claim their land, which will bring a conflict, I think it's upon Mheshimiwa and the other leadership in the constituency to help the people to understand that there are ways we can resolve those irreversible problems or situations. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, honorable Edith.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the approach you have taken. I'm wondering, I hope I'm not taking you back. I'm wondering where these people are, the Kenya people. And then I'm also wondering whether we are not opening up a Pandora box because 4.2 billion. And I'm sure there are so many other Kenyans who have such issues, land issues. Are we not going to start settling these ones and we get so many others asking for land? So could we not have, could we not have gotten another solution like looking for land to settle these people? Otherwise, 4.2 billion from a Kenyan government, which is always crying that there is no money, I think this is too much, and we may hope we are not just telling them to just relax a bit and then we don't settle them. That's just my fear.
Yes, honorable Peter.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to write on that because 4.2 billion is not little money, but also I've seen those cases because there are so many cases even here in Nairobi, but they are easily settled when, first of all, as the PS puts it, you convince the people that this is not your ad, and you have to move. It's not your ad. But now the government comes in with a negotiation whereby even the people who are there to chip in, because we have seen here Tasia, there are people say there were squatters here in Tasia. Some of us were part of it. But there was a negotiation whereby, because the person who sold the land to us did not disclose that the land was for NSSF, there was an settlement that we agree with NSSF and we pay some amount of money, and I think at a subside rate. But for them, I think 4.2 billion, I know as we are putting it, it will now excite even other squatters even to come in, and also so many cases that we have in the country. Whereby Nyakenywa, I think they know also 4.2 billion is not easy for the government. But those people who are settled there also, they can still be part of the to chip in, because if they chip in, if an acre is 600 and they chip in 300 per acre, you find it will be very easy maybe for government, even others, whenever they will call for the same. It will be an easier way whereby the government might not put itself in a fix that will not be able to come out of it. Yeah.
Have you, Bwana PS, have you mapped? Okay, I'll give you a chance. Have you mapped or identified the people who are supposed to benefit from the land once it is bought, or that will? I don't know how you intend to manage that, because I'm thinking that once the people will realize that now government has bought the land, everybody will feel entitled to a piece of it. Have you done identification of the beneficiaries?
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janet Sitiene, MP Tarbo, Vice Chair of this committee. Chair, I've just traveled, sorry for coming late. I just wanted to add something just so that you can answer together. One, I want to appreciate the PS for the effort he has put into to settle this matter that was of great concern. But I want to ask maybe two questions. One, are the members, the owners of the title or the owners of the land, in agreement with a price of 600K? Because I remember, if you remember the Muranga case, it gave us a lot of problems because much as you are thinking of the market price, they may not be accepted in an agreement with the price that the government is offering as 600 per acre. Maybe you also need to agree, first of all, before you put it into 4.2 billion. Are they in agreement that, right, the market price is 600 and we accept it? I don't know the other thing I have just missed. I'll ask later. Thank you.
PS, before you answer to those questions, please let's give the Honorable Beatrice a chance. Please note your questions so that you'll be able to answer them together.
Thank you. I think you asked the first one, which I also was very worried about the mapping. But at the same time, my question now will be, having looked at how we are doing these land issues, and I know we even have people who are still struggling, even those of SGR and all that. So how do we come and decide now we will want to compensate them? Yes. We will want to buy the land? Yes. But PS, you will remember, the moment you do that, just remember you'll come here for many other petitions of same people who have same problem, and we need. So what are you going to do so that you ask yourself, because I know we have other petitions here, and I think we are it's ending up in the same. so that we don't start this and then you open a Pandora that will kill you in 2 years.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. This,
yes, the vice chair has talked about the Mulanga land, and we actually end up meeting with the CS. And I remember she categorically said that there is no money to buy that land. So now, how come there is no money to buy this one? Isn't that discrimination? She actually said categorically that's too much money and we can't afford.
yeah.
Thank you,
So
Chair.
PS, you may
Maybe
now
I think you got
explain how suddenly. So,
so. Yeah, I think that is erroneous. If you read my statement, the ministry is recommending that with additional funds, alternative land can be purchased. So we have no money, Honorable Chair, and that's why I was saying maybe your report can help us get money. So we have no money, but that is what is the alternative? Honorable Wangari is here and pursuing this petition because she's here to say
that I'm just fighting for Oljurai, but you cannot fight for Oljurai without the Larinya Kenya. That is why the recommendation was to actually fidia, pay compensation to Larinya Kenya to free these other ones. It has to be both.
So there is no other way to settle those people other than buying the land. So then we must have the money to pay Larinya Kenya. The alternative to that is eviction. To evict Kenya. So we are in a catch-22, Honorable Chair, because it is true. It is true because I also presented this, I wrote to my counterpart in Interior. When the president was in Mombasa and said government will buy lands for those people who are landless and who are sitting on people's land, we actually experienced that week people raiding people's lands. And we had to actually tell when they are settled here, they get their title and they move to another land. And they also want government to pay. And of course, they will send their representatives to come to parliament to bring petitions. So we are in in this case, for example, which is not unique. It's actually happening. I am just from a meeting on another land called Cheluget in Narok, where it has been settled for the last 30 years, similar to this one. 5,000 acres, people have settled on the land. It belongs to former Isaiah Cheluget. And the family is saying, we don't create another two problems. So that, sorry, what happened in Tasia, he has said what has happened in Tasia, it is actually what we are trying to propose even in Coast Region. We're having a meeting next week on how to settle the landless in Coast Region. We have realized some of the people who have built on those parcels are people who are able to pay for the land. You'll find someone who has built 10 floors, 2 floors, 5 floors on the land. Maybe they were sold a certificate not knowing that there is an existing title. So, and they are saying, can we regularize? And government is saying, we can actually help you in terms of regularizing. Can you pay for the price? The government comes into the surveyors, the government comes in established together with the owner of the land so that when that money is paid, it is paid directly to the owner. The government does not incur the cost of buying that land, but it facilitates the regularization process, which it's an option that we are looking at. But sometimes we look at now the nature of the people who are living there. Are they totally peasants or they are able to pay? So that is what we are looking at. So, so in terms of where Mheshimiwa, I think where Mheshimiwa Nyenze asked, where are these Lari Nyakenywa? Lari Nyakenywa, I think most of them are coming from actually Lari, from the name Lari Nyakenywa, and they are not settling on the land. So I think they bought this land as an investment long time ago. So they are already, most of them are in Nyandarua, because the last time they came to my office, they were actually brought by the MP for Nyandarua. So they are in Nyandarua, but this is their land they bought in Gilgil. So they are not settling on the land. The people settling on the land are predominantly people from Gilgil constituency. So I think, I hope I've answered all the questions.
Sure.
Beneficiary list. So the list that we have, if you look at my response, we have said 1,400, but this was then. This population keeps growing. It keeps growing every day. So eventually, all those people who will be on that land eventually, when the government buys the land, they'll settle, then we'll have to do a head count of the people who are there, and those are the beneficiaries that will be there. Yes, Honorable Chair. So we don't have a list, a standard, a list right now, per se.
Chair, he has not answered my
Please,
question, but I want to have an additional about the price.
Yes, sorry,
element.
Chair. The price I mentioned was an indicative figure of the valuation, not eventually, because of the fact that already it has been invaded by squatters and the rest, likely that price might come down by half, because we'll have negotiations. Because even if they were to be given the land, they cannot sell it. I mean, it is invaded by squatters. So the price that we'll eventually go with is the price by the government valuer, which they will value the land. The indicative figure that has been forwarded to us by now the owners of the land is around 600,000 per acre. But when we go to negotiation, mostly that price will go down by almost half. Yes.
Chair, thank you. I think he has answered it, because that was my biggest worry, because the owners must agree to the price so that they don't pull you back again. You mentioned this figure, and then another time you are mentioning a different figure, and people will be asking why. The other issue, normally the county government holds land in trust for its people. So I was just wondering, have you explored other avenues to see whether the county government has some land seated somewhere that they can actually seed for to settle this community and save this government that amount of money? That is question number one. Number two, where does Limitation of Actions Act sit here on adverse possession? Thank you.
all right. And I would
Yeah.
request honorable
Chair,
members.
just additional to what he has
Okay,
asked.
that's okay. While you do that, please also let us be
Conscious of time.
conscious of time, because we
Yes.
have quite a number of workloads. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of petitions, and the honorable mother is also waiting for me in another committee. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think there's something, the PSI support your move. I mentioned that from the beginning. Now my concern is you have said other people could be coming in. Chair, I think we should be having a timeline for those people who are recognized as beneficiaries. I cannot move there today and I become a beneficiary. So we must have a very well-defined start and end time for those who will be recognized as beneficiaries. Others will have to move out.
Thank you, honorable mother. Do you have a final submission?
Just to thank the ministry, because this issue has prolonged all the way from last time. We have prosecuted it even when the PS was in parliament, but also appreciate them that they have taken a route to listen to all of them. If Oljurai goes to the office, they listen to them. If Nyakenyua goes, they listen to them. And we hope eventually, Chair, that we'll get a way out of it and for everyone to not feel like they have been disadvantaged. We hope for a win-win in future. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable Martha. You're now excused. And honorable members, let us now go to the next issue. So let us begin from number one now. Now that we have expedited on number 5, we can go back to number 1. Petition number 68 of 2023 regarding irregular and poor allocation of parcels of land, Chepchon China, phase 1 and 2, settlement schemes in Trans Nzoia County. So, Honorable PS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Maybe your guidance, Honorable Chair. Should I go through the petition and then the response, or I go straight to the response?
Let him go direct to the response. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The response to petition number 1 is in page 3, Honorable Chair. Chepchona Settlement Scheme in Endebess Sub-County was acquired by the Settlement Fund Trustees, SFT, from the Agricultural Development Corporation in 1998-1999 for resettlement of squatters and other landless Kenyans. Implementation of the scheme was done in 3 phases for ease of management. Phase 1, which is scheme number 608. This phase covered covers approximately 4,400 acres with a total of 665 plots. The plots measured approximately 5 acres each. It was originally established in 1994 by the then provisional administration, who issued letters of offer to beneficiaries. Planning, surveying, and demarcation was later done by the offer in 2008, 2009. Chepchoina Phase 2 was established in 2010. It covers an area of approximately 7,300 acres. After planning and surveying, letters of offer were issued to beneficiaries in 2012. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are registered and with fully paid plots being discharged and transferred. Chepchoina Phase 3, which is scheme number 632, was established in 2012 and covers an area of approximately 3,000 acres. The demarcation was completed in 2013. However, due to insecurities in the area, activities in the scheme were suspended since the scheme was invaded by people from outside Trans Nzoia County. The intruders filed petition number 2 of 2014 at the ELC court in Kitale. It was determined in favor of the settlement fund trustee and other defendants in 2020. Survey works resumed in 2021 and a total of 970 plots measuring between 2.5 to 5 acres were realized. Letters of offer were issued to the beneficiaries. Loan payment is ongoing with the plots being discharged. Honorable Chair, in response to question number 1, the ministry is not aware of any irregular, illegal double allocation of settlement land in Chepchoina Phase 1 and 2 or fraudulent issuance of title deeds. All phases of the schemes were completed successfully and due process followed. The plots were allocated to the beneficiaries through the sub-county selection committee. The ministry's sub-county office has no mandate to allocate land in the scheme. In response to question number 2, Honorable Chair, Chepchoina Phase 3 settlement scheme was finalized in 2013 when all the squatters were captured during the identification and verification of beneficiaries. The county being cosmopolitan, beneficiaries comprised of members from different communities. The claim of excluding people who have settled in the scheme for 29 years is therefore not accurate. However, it is true there have been sporadic inter-community skirmishes in the scheme, mainly caused by invaders from the neighboring county. The ministry is not aware of any eviction as incidents of evictions are handled by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration. During the time of insecurity, some allottees fled and left their farms, but with improved security, they returned. On return, some allottees found intruders in their farms, necessitating intervention by the security agencies. Some of the allottees who benefited from Phase 1 sold off their plots before accepting the offer or occupying their plots. This was in breach of the conditions of the allocation. Due to the breach of the condition of allocation, the plots were reallocated to other beneficiaries. The allottee failed to inform the buyers of the non-acceptance of the offer and usually cite double allocation when confronted on the same by the buyers. Honorable Chair, in response to question number 3, the ministry has enhanced collaboration with the investigative agencies to ensure prompt responses to any allegation of misconduct of our officers with a view of taking appropriate disciplinary action if need be. Claims of irregular, illegal, and double allocations were filed in court through civil case number E4004 of 2024 in the ELC court in Kitale. The cases did not proceed for lack of evidence to confirm the allegation of ownership of the land in the scheme. The issue of double allocation does not arise since the plots are only reallocated when the original allottee fails to accept the offer and take possession of the plot. The ministry will cooperate, Honorable Chair, with the investigative agencies, ESCC and DCI, once they open investigation into the process of allocation in the Chepchoina, following the complaints received on inability to pay for the land so offered. The Land Settlement Fund Board of Trustees requested the cabinet to grant a waiver on interest accruing that is in excess of 5.6 billion in all settlement schemes, which was granted and is waiting a gazettement by the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury. I submit, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Any question? Any question regarding this petition? This matter had been brought to the attention of the committee by one, I think, Honorable Pukose. Yeah. Do you have any? If there is no comment, then Honorable PS, we can go to the next petition.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The second petition is petition number 82 of 2023 regarding the degazettement of Boni Lungi Forest in Lamu East constituency. Honorable Chair, in response, Boni Lungi Forest was gazetted as a forest by the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forest Vide.
Sorry, PS, let me interject. Now, Secretariat, are the honorable members responsible for these petitions aware that they are aware? Okay. Proceed, PS.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On the issue of the Boni Lungi Forest, Honorable Chair, the response, Honorable Chair, is that Boni Lungi Forest was gazetted as a forest by the Ministry of Environment, vide legal notice number 261, dated 3rd November 2016, and a boundary plan number 175/433 was prepared by the Director of Survey, declaring it as a public forest. It is only the Ministry of Environment which can advise if the degazettement can be done to enable the process of conversion of the forest to community land for the purpose of the settlement of the people residing in it. Annexure 1 is a copy of the legal notice number 261 and a boundary plan number 175 of stroke 433. Honorable Chair, basically what we are saying in this response, Honorable Chair, is that I think the petitioner was saying that this land is a community land and ought not to have been gazetted as a forest. And what we are saying, Honorable Chair, it's the Ministry of Environment that gazettes and declares forests. And when it is declared forest, the procedure of degazetting a forest is there, Honorable Chair. And it is only now the Ministry of Environment, through the recommendation of KFS, to now bring it to Parliament, Honorable Chair, to be debated as actually take it to Cabinet, then bring it to Parliament to be debated as a motion, then it is degazetted. So, Honorable Chair, we are saying actually the respondent to this question should actually be the Ministry of Environment, because once it is gazetted, to us it is a forest, and unless it is degazetted, there is no action that the Ministry of Lands can do. It has to be degazetted for us now to prepare community land titles.
That is very clear, isn't it, honorable members? All right, so let us go to the next one.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On petition number 3, which is public petition number 5 of 2024, on illegal acquisition of parcels of land registered as Kapkagaron Farm, LR number 5423/2 and LR number 6053 in Nandi Hills, sub-county, Nandi constituency, Nandi County, Honorable Chair. In response, Honorable Chair, certificate of title LR number 6053, which is IR number 2505, was initially registered in favor of Walter Scott Wilson and Gicomte Jackie D. Sibor or Sibor as tenants in common in equal share on 17th October 1928. The land is situated in southeast of Kapsabet Nandi district of the then Nyanza province. It measures approximately 440 acres with the dimension, butals, and boundaries thereof delineated on survey plan number 26317 for an annual rent of Kenya shillings 88 revisable. A number of transactions have been registered against the titles, since as indicated in the copy of the title attached in as annex number 2 is a copy of the title. The land, you have annexed, Honorable Chair, that's annex number 2, which is the title together with all the transactions that have happened on the land, Honorable Chair. The land was charged to the Land and Agricultural Bank of Kenya on 18th March 1932, and a further charge in favor of the same financial institution was registered on 15th August 1933. The property was, however, discharged on the 12th March 1943. On May 29, 1941, a short-term lease for 5 years was registered in favor of Seplon Syndicate Limited, and it was consequently surrendered on 8th July 1942. Honorable Chair, the land was transferred to Edward Kaigem Robertson and Struan James Kaigem Robertson for a consideration of Kenya shillings 52,800 as Annex Number 3. Is a copy of the transfer document. A charge in favor of the new proprietors was registered on the same day. On 8th June 1948, the property was transferred to Siret Tea Company Limited for a consideration of 246,000. And therefore is a copy of the transfer instruments. Consequently, the property was charged severally in favor of different financial institutions on 23rd June 1994. And on 23rd June 1994, the property was discharged and was freed from all encumbrances. On the same date, it was transferred to Kakuzi Limited for a consideration of 4,050,390, together with other lands. Annexure 5 is a copy of the such. Honorable Chair, LR number 5423, which is original number 1375/1, was initially registered in favor of Thomas Arthur Keshaw Patton for an annual rent of Kenya shillings 286.10. The land measured approximately 1,420.5 acres and is situated in southeast of Kapsabet in the Nandi district. On 24th February 1948, this parcel was subdivided and transferred to Siret Tea Company Limited, LR number 5423/2, measuring approximately 1070 acres for an annual rent of Kenya shillings 241. LR number 5023/2 was thereafter transferred to Kakuzi Limited for a consideration of 4,050,390 on 24th June 1994. Annexure 6 is a copy of the such. Honorable Chair, on 15th December 1995, Kakuzi Limited excised approximately 239.29 acres from LR number 5423/2 and transferred the same to the Tinderet Development Trust Company Limited as LR number 5423/4, which is IR number 68679 for an annual rent of 59,330 revisable. Honorable Chair, according to our record, both parcels are still private land registered in favor of Kakuzi Limited and are therefore not available for adjudication and settlement program until they are surrendered to the government.
All right, PS. So, who is occupying the land currently?
Honorable Chair, as per our record, it's Kakuzi. We did not do ground report in terms of who is occupying the land.
We have petitioners, the people who, okay, the petition was brought by the people who are settled there. And that's why, okay, as per your records, the land belongs to Kakuzi. So does it mean that you have not yet established who are the people occupying the land currently, and perhaps for what duration have they been there?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, we did not do a ground report in terms of who's occupying the land. We relied on the documents that we have because, Honorable Chair, who owns the land is the owner of the record, Honorable Chair. So unless you ask us, Honorable Chair, to do a ground report, then we can prepare a ground report by now visiting the land.
But of course, PS, when there is a petition, it means there is an issue of interest on the land. So our interest basically is not to establish who is the owner of the land and leave it there. It is good that we have known from you that the owner, rather, the land belongs to Kakuzi. But there are people staying on that land and living there. Yes, and claiming that the land is theirs. So some of the basic information we needed to know is whether, yes,
I think our members went to the land in Nandi, and I think they found out that land is under tea plantation, and therefore I think maybe one of the members who were there is our vice chair. So,
Chair, I just wanted to put a bit of clarity.
yes,
I think the issue in this petition was actually this particular land, LR 5423 stroke 2 of 239.29 hectares, no acres. Because according to the petition, this land was supposed to have been given to the community to build an institution, which was a polytechnic or a secondary school, which was handed over by one of the white settlers as a gift. And the issue here was that the land that was given to the community as a gift was transferred. They were asked to register an association or a company. But then, in the process, this land was transferred immediately to Tinderet Development Trust Company. So it did not go to the said beneficiaries. Actually, that was the main issue in the petition. I think members, if you remember the issue. So it was an issue of who owns this land. Is it the community, because it was handed over to build an institution, a polytechnic, and either a polytechnic or a secondary school? And that was actually the issue that was raised in the petition.
Chair.
so yes, Honorable Kitayama.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, PS, you have done very well in the first, is it 3 petitions, and I want to thank you for the seriousness you've given this matter. However, Chair, this particular one, the issue is not about us doing a search, because this amounts to like a search has been done on the history around this land. That's not the problem, PS. The problem is that there are real people. We visited there, and in fact, your officers were there, meaning that a ground search has actually happened. So I think, Chair, we are not addressing the problem. It would be fair that we give the petitioner some rest, some, a response that is going to be helpful, because what is coming out is that because we listened, and then the officers were there from NLC, the officers were there from the Ministry of Lands, surveyors, the team, everybody was there, and the same sanitation that the people currently occupying did. They sanitized the records in Nairobi. And the poor people there at the time, and I would want to encourage the peers to really meet these people. The story is they actually trusted somebody. Please go and help us. We have been awarded this land by this Muzungu. He's going away. He has said all this can be this, but this one, since you have been with me as my works, take this one, go and settle yourselves. So who was there, unable to know what to do in Nairobi, what do? You wake up in the morning and go to your MP's home and you submit the papers and say, please go and help me. Who unto them? They are now before us with a petition. That is the reality. And if we want to help Kenyans, we will deal with the reality, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
So PS, I think you've clearly, and for the benefit of those who are not there, like myself, how many people are we dealing with in this petition? How many were they approximately? Vice Chair. The Vice Chair. Are you able to recall how many people we are dealing with?
We had, during the petition, the ground visit,
Yeah.
we had about four people, four families
Mhm.
that actually were moved out of this land so that they were taken somewhere. According to the explanation, they were taken somewhere that is uninhabitable and left there.
Mhm.
And then tea was grown on that particular land.
Mhm.
And apart from that, it has been a cultural land for them for a long time. So they were like moved to another place.
So, like,
But at
what
the
is?
same time,
Yeah.
on the same land, there was land ceded or left for an institution which has never taken off.
So I'm
And so they
trying
were
to
claiming
establish like how many people are supposed to benefit, because theirs is that they are pursuing their land.
it's a community, the
Yeah.
Kapkagaron community.
What is the population of that community?
I don't remember the exact population because we had representatives coming to the site.
So Bona
So
PS,
remember, these are people who have been moved away. What is available there is a tea estate plantation.
so Bona PS, what there is a betrayal of trust. What you are dealing with is a betrayal of trust, where the community entrusted one of their own to go and help them process, um, facilitate a registration process, or rather an acquisition process of a property that had been donated to them by a white settler. Yeah, and that did not happen. So that is the issue that we really wanted you to speak to. It's good that you have told us who owns the land as per the records that are in your ministry, but let us also hear you speak to the issue of the betrayal of trust. Yes, Honorable Beatrice.
But as much as we will push PS on that, I think the first thing the ministry should do, because already they know who the owners of land is, the challenge they are going to face, people who have moved, 4 families. And so we are saying the best is to go back on the ground and first get